Hello everybody, welcome back to another controller video. We're going to open this thing up again. So it's been a couple weeks since I did that first Switch 2 Pro controller video where I took it apart, messed with the D-pad. Kind of sat on it for a couple weeks. I put the controller down, I didn't play with it. I tested it. Didn't feel as good as the Switch 1 Pro controller that I've also modded. So I put it down, kind of thought about it for a couple weeks. And now I'm ready to give it another shot, do some more modding. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is where we're at with taping. I'm just about halfway on the right and left. About 3/4 on the up and down. Still not enough. So I have these little circles. You can see that. This little circle is cut out with a hole punch. It's just the clear plastic that comes from like a kid's toy, where you can see it's like a window to see inside the box, like a doll box. And I punched that out with a hole punch for the Switch 1 Pro controller. This was the perfect size. This is the Pro 2. You can see how that thing's got, there's a lot of wiggle room in there. This circle on the Switch 1 was actually the exact size of a hole punch, which is pretty crazy. So I just put that in there. And that was enough. It raised the pivot point up on the D-pad, and the tape also helps. It was pretty good. Now for the Switch 2 Pro controller, I'm gonna have to try something different because I could just throw that in there, call it a day. I tested it like that. It seemed to work pretty good. But my OCD just will have me thinking that piece is gonna move around in there and eventually get out of place. So it needs to be like more closer to the size of that hole. I couldn't imagine why I would think it would break loose. 5. What can I do? More. 6. God. I'm not even pushing up! Are you kidding me? So we need to cut a hole, a perfectly sized hole. Put a piece of plastic in there. I got a bunch of different things. I got, this is just a epoxy glue case. I got a flimsier one. It's another window into a box. This one is probably way too thick. The shame that the worst part is that this original piece is the perfect thickness, even though it's the perfect thickness for the Switch 1 Pro controller, and it's coincidentally the perfect thickness for the Switch 2, even though they redesigned it so much with this pivot. They were still off by the same amount, which is pretty crazy when you think about all the redesigning that they did on this thing. I have an idea. Maybe instead of using plastic, I might be able to use this. It's just duct seal, metal tape, duct seal tape. I think with this, I don't have to be so perfect because I could just put it on and kind of fold it over. The question is it thick enough? Will it crush down over time? Like, you gotta imagine, the D-pad pivot is gonna be like in one spot eventually it might get indented. I don't know about the durability of this, how long it would last. You gotta imagine doing this for 10 hours on a hard level. And I don't want to go back in. I want to fix this, be one and done. I like having something that can be easily removed. Try to cut a piece out of this. See if I can cut a perfect circle. It's not going to be easy. Oh yeah. Terrible. Terrible idea. Let's just cut it. Right, so that was terrible. I need to try again. Maybe trace this. Let me get a marker. Maybe I can trace it. Here we go. Big brain move. Use one of these reinforcement things. So I know the hole has to be bigger than the inside, but at least I can follow it. Roughly cut out a circle, and then I'll make it smaller and smaller. A little easier to see. Okay, so there's circle number 1. I need to go inside there. Probably about here. And if I take my time, I can go and just make sure I follow that inside line and make sure it doesn't get thicker or thinner, wider. Whatever you want to say. Who knew I'd be given lessons on how to cut a circle on the internet? I gotta go thinner. I already tell. This is looking pretty dang good though. I think I did too much. What do we got? Makes it easier to see too. That's dude, that's pretty good. I cut a circle, man. I cut a good circle. Just want to take that little point off. So there's your pro tip for the day. How to cut a circle. And that fits in there so much better. I don't know if the thickness is right. We're going to have to test it. But it'll sit in there. It's also kind of hard to do this. Yeah, not really. But this is filthy. I gotta clean all this stuff up. I feel like the metal tape would definitely be easier than doing it this way, but I'm like I said, I'm concerned about the durability because it's like tin foil. I feel like I would eventually work my way through it. So we'll put this thing in, which now looks kind of cool with the orange. It actually matches matches the Switch colors. Kind of got to do this. So it seems to be doing something, which is interesting. It's preventing the pivot. It's preventing that from popping in. You know, and you normally push the D-pad in, you get that click. So I'm not even sure if it's actually the height difference or if it's the fact that this thing is just not letting the D-pad go down at all. Yeah, well, let's see how it goes back together. All right, we gotta do this different. Let's put this in like you normally would. This button is a jerk. This little button. Biggest pain in the butt. Okay. Before I put any screws in, I'll just try it. It works. I mean, it's working in the menus. That's not bad. It's totally preventing, that click in the middle, which means it's all pivot at this point. So I have a test level where I can test ground pounding in the air. Yeah, so it's not hard. It's not hard to get hit the down, but it takes a concerted effort to push it down. You have to really slide your thumb down, which is what we want, right? Duck jumps seem to be working okay. Man, I don't know. It feels great, but I'm also worried about that membrane. I gotta try tape. I gotta try this and see what happens. I'm worried about the thickness. Mama, get up and make it down with the thickness. Alright, so we got this. Goes nothing. So do that, and then it ain't going anywhere. Electrical tape would probably be another option, but the thing with electrical tape is it eventually moves. And it's also a lot more squishy. Kind of want a hard surface. Where's my D-pad? The D-pad ran away. Dude, seriously? I really lost the D-pad. Where'd it go? I'm an idiot. It's in there. Alright. That's definitely thinner. You still get the click. Still going in. At least it feels a little more like a regular D-pad now. But it might be too thin to prevent stuff that I don't want it to do. Yeah, it's definitely easier to hit the down than before. I think it's not thick enough. I don't even understand the whole point of this thing right here. It just makes a click. It doesn't actually help attenuate the buttons. So I have a theory. A game theory. Let me find something. Let's see if I can show this on camera. So when you do this, obviously you're going left and right. You're not heading down. But when you push the whole D-pad in, you don't get the click. So when the D-pad is all the way extended up without being pushed in, you get a little click left and right. You get that click, and then when it's pushed in, you don't get that click. Right. So look, if you go, it's not pushed in. You go left, it clicks, down, it clicks, right, it clicks, left, down, right. It does a good job of differentiating between the inputs. But when you push in against that pivot, and the pivot's not high enough, it screws it up, because now the bottom button, the bottom and the top, if I'm pushing right, the bottom and the top buttons are halfway pushed in. So there's no resistance for this thing to click when you push down. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but like these little doodads should be all the way up if you're not pushing that direction. So if you push right, and then you go from right to down, it should click. Down, it doesn't though, because I'm pushing against the pivot, which pushes that membrane in pushes all 4 buttons in just a little bit, so none of them click. Let's go another piece of tape. We are delving deeper and deeper into mad scientist territory. I've said it before, if I can't fix this, I'm gonna invent my own D-pad. Alright, so now we got 2 pieces of tape. There's even less click in the middle, but it still clicks compared to the plastic circle. I don't know, that's pretty good. It allows me to really push hard without hitting down. Should we go for 3? Maybe go for 3 pieces. Problem with 3 pieces is the sides are getting pretty thick. Alright, now there's basically no give. I think that's too much now, because it's not registering. Yeah, I think I've gone too far. 2 pieces of tape seem to be where it's at. Now it's the big question: is do I do the tape or do I do the first method I had? Feels pretty good. Problem is, raising the pivot isn't really the answer. It's lowering those contacts. Not the contacts, the membrane button parts that actually push in. If they came out with a different membrane, you wouldn't need to raise the pivot. All right, that's it then. I guess I gotta clean this whole thing up and test it. Do a run. All right, so we got this thing back together. Even got the faceplate back on. Just snapped right back in, and the tape's plenty sticky enough to hold it down in place. It's not going anywhere. That's only one time though. I mean, if I gotta take this off a bunch of times, it might that tape might wear out. But anyway, so it's all back together. It's got that. It's weird that you can't just push it in. Like there's nothing, there's a little bit of play, barely anything. So it's basically right on the pivot point where, like, switch 1, you can see that thing goes in. That goes in a lot. A big gap. And when you roll it around, it's real poppy and crackly. It actually feels cheap now compared to what I just did. This one is directly on the pivot, and it just, I don't know, it's got a really, really unique feel, and I like it. It it's still, you still feel the membrane popping when you do it like this. You hit the edges, but when you're holding it in the middle and you're just rocking it around, it just feels like, it almost feels like a joystick. A little bit, or like it feels very premium actually, without all that clicky and poppiness. I think by George, I think we've got it. The only thing I notice is when I'm in the menus, I usually don't push that hard when I'm in a menu, scrolling through the menus, and that's where I miss the inputs. You can see it's not really going down unless I push it harder. That could be fixed. I could adjust that, but I actually prefer it that way. If you don't, you'd have to bring that pivot down. You'd have to use something thinner. Or moving the tape. I could move the tape down as well. Would be another option. But I absolutely need this because I squeeze the controller like it owes me money. Here we go. Spiky ice parkour. No down. No downs unless I actually push it, which I did right there. All right. Oh man, so good. This is how it should have been out of the box. They should just totally eliminate that little button push, the center button push for D-pads. I don't understand it, why they have it. You'd think it would serve some purpose. I don't see any. This level's not really the hardest level, but not doing any ground pounds. Or making mistakes.
Oh, no.
It's a jump, jump, jaboo. Jump, jump, jaboo. Oh, I didn't know where to go there for a second. Checkpoint. Wow, this is kind of a long level. Thought it was gonna be quicker. Oof. GG. GG. I don't know what I was saying. That is really good. I am ecstatic about this. I'm putting this controller into rotation. We're putting it into the rotation. I'm going back to using it. Yeah, I think we're ready to put this thing into action. Do some no-skip runs. It's even better than the Switch one at this point, I would say. Not having those clicks and pops is like, it's less of a distraction. I like that. It's also almost like using a trackpad. But yeah, if you watched my first video and you haven't tried what I said to do in that video, go back and watch that, and then come here to do the final touches, and you'll have yourself a good D-pad. Good enough for me. I'll still be checking out other controllers here and there just to check out the D-pads, see how they work. I'm actually really curious about the G7 Pro, what that one feels like. But that's for another video. As far as the Pro 2, I've made it functional. I've made it in a way that I can use it for Mario Maker 2. So I'm happy it's satisfied. If you're having the same problems as me, hopefully this helps you out. I did a better job than Nintendo. I'm willing to say it now. Nintendo should hire me. This feels really good. I wish you could touch it. Wish you could touch it through the screen and feel what I'm feeling. I really like it. If you're a micro switch guy and that's all you're used to, probably not going to like this because there's no feedback. But you don't need it. I used to think you needed the feedback of the click to kind of tell you when you're hitting down. But the problem with that is when you're pushing in and the D-pad is depressed, like I was showing, when the D-pad is depressed and you don't even get you don't really get much clickiness. You don't really get much tactile feel when it's pushed all the way in. That's why I can't understand why they put such a big gap. Maybe it's a manufacturing thing. Maybe it's like a tolerance. Like if they made it too close, they run the risk of it not fitting and working properly. So they make the gap just a little bit bigger. That's the if I worked for Nintendo, I'd say you can't do that. It's a bad idea. I feel like I should give this to Nintendo and say, do this. It feels really good. I don't know if I'm just tooting my own horn too much here, but yeah, I like it. I kind of thought this video was going to be longer because I was going to go in and out and do all kinds of adjustments. But that was really all I needed. It's a little piece of plastic. Yeah, this turned out to be a great endeavor. Wasn't happy about having to take apart my $80 brand new $80 controller, but in the end, I got what I wanted. Anyway, if this helped you out, leave a thumbs up. Maybe put a comment. Let me know if this little mod worked out as well for you as it did for me. Hope you liked the video. Do the YouTube stuff. Comment, like, subscribe. This is the first time visiting my channel. I play Mario Maker mostly, and some other Nintendo stuff, Mario Kart, all that stuff. But mostly Mario Maker. and ROM hacks. Check it out if you're interested. Give a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Now, I'm gonna go play.